So we warmed up already with so nice music. We want to come now to our artistic contribution. So we want to hear the piano quartet in A minor from Joaquin Turina, played by Rebecca Cuarto on the violin, Tirza Vogel on the viola, Noemi Adriao on the cello, and Laura Felicio on the piano. So give a warm hand to them. She was working as a veterinarian for 2 years, and Opa was called by God in 1986 to give up her profession and serve as a missionary. And she started a ministry with with the entertainment sector in Manila, and which is now called Artists in Touch. So we are really happy to have her here today and give us a talk about self-esteem. Well, welcome to you.
Good morning. It is my joy to be here with you. I bring greetings from my side of your world, of our world, Asia, and from the Global Leader Strategies of which Crescendo is a part of. Allow me to introduce myself a little bit more. Okay, I hope this works. Alright. As I said, my whole name is Orpa Omega Lee Marasigan. I'm a doctor of veterinary medicine. I'm 62 years old. I'm a senior citizen now. This is so important because in my country, if you're 60 and above, you have 20% discount on all establishments. So that's great. You can come to my country. I'm single. I've never been married, but I'm in a live-in relationship with this creature. She's my 1.5-year-old Pembroke Welsh Corgi. She's a sweetheart. I miss her. And we recently climbed a mountain together in one of the places in the north of my country. So I helped start a ministry in Manila called Artists in Touch, which is a ministry for TV, movie, music, dance, and theater. Can someone move your movies? So I can move around, thank you. It's called Artists in Touch. And I'm also, like Fran said, I'm also a counselor for men and women who come from backgrounds of abuse, neglect, and those that have pregnancy losses like abortions. It is called Hope Alive. And I give talks on abortion, abuse, neglect, and its connection to depression and suicide. So that's what I do. But today I'm a Campus Crusade for Christ Global Leader Strategy representative for Southeast and South Asia. So we're talking about hope. That's my homework, to talk to you about hope for more self-esteem. When you look at yourself or just watch how you perform, how do you like yourself? Do you like what you see? I would like to tell you about my story a little bit. Oops, what happened? Okay. Oops, I'm getting close, sorry. Something's not working. No. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, it's there. Can somebody just manipulate it from there? Okay, the next slide, please. So, when you look at yourself in the mirror, what is self-esteem? Self-esteem, according to the dictionary, is how you view yourself and value or perceive yourself, right? It is the confidence of one's own self-worth or self-respect. And you might also think of this as self-confidence. So your self-esteem can affect how you like or you value yourself as a person or as a performer. So let me tell you a little bit about my story, because I have very small time, and I'd like to share with you what has led me to how I view myself and how I view others. So I come from a very small family. My father is a pastor, my mom is an English teacher, and I'm the cutest of the 4 children. You have to believe me, I'm the cutest, see? They have we're all adults now, and my parents have passed on. My mother has passed on at 93. Well, that's our bigger family now. My father has passed on at 95. But there are three most significant persons in my life that has shaped the way I value myself. And the first one is my father. You know, when I was a little girl, my father would come, I would come into the room and he would say, "My daughter." There is such a delight in his eyes just by me coming into a room. At 90 years old, even the week before he died, he would say, "My daughter." There's a delight in his eyes that I did not have to say anything, nor did I have to do anything, but I knew my father delighted in me. My father was also lavish in appreciation, affirmations. You know, in the Philippines, there are small jeepneys, right? You're riding a jeep, there are 6 other people you don't know, and my father would come into the jeep and say, "You know, this is my Miss Universe, this is my Miss World," and we're talking about the 3 of us sisters, and that's my Miss World. And he would be so proud of us. And of course, I didn't understand it then, but growing up, that's just a constant. He would celebrate things with us. That's why when I give my talks, and all of you will tell me I'm ugly, I will not believe you. Because my father said, "I'm beautiful." Isn't that amazing? My father also celebrated many things in our lives. Events, non-events. We would celebrate because you got 88 instead of 87% in an exam. So anything is celebrated. He modeled to me how he loved people. I would watch him speak words of truth to people, even the most famous people. He had a famous artist in his congregation, and he wasn't afraid to speak truth and love that person. It's a beautiful model to me. Then my mom, well, as a result, it was easy for me to understand that I am loved. And I didn't have to be anything else just to be loved. It was also easy for me to try things, and when I failed, I can try again. And things will be okay. My mother, you know, when we were young, I did not know we were poor. But we were so poor. My mother is a teacher. The salary of those kinds of professions are very small. But every day, there was wonderful food on our table. I didn't know we were poor. There was always food for anyone who would come into our home. And my home is a welcoming home. So my mother modeled to me that people are welcoming our home, whatever, and she would give. She would feed them. That's her love language. She would feed them, and at the same time, they would offer some things to be giving to our family. So the model of receiving and giving was modeled to me by my mom. She valued people in whatever level of economic, you know, in a city, there are very poor people, there are also very rich people. They were all welcome in our home. So I didn't know the disparity of the different levels of society. They were all welcome. So as a result, it was easy for me to know I'm worth loving on. And I can receive love from her and give love. Good self-esteem allows people to welcome people in your life. It allows you to welcome people in your life and learn from them. That's why you as students here, I take my hats off for you who come to Crescendo because you want to learn, you want to receive. And that's the best way to learn. It was easy for me to understand that love in the deepest way is made available because of my parents. I'm very blessed to have them. Unfortunately, not all of us have good mothers, nor fathers. What if you come from a background that your father looked at you with dismay, or does not even know you exist? Where do you get your self-esteem. What is it like for you growing up if words every day were given to you like you're stupid, you cannot do anything? What does that do to your heart? It's very difficult. So, these are good questions to ask. Who delighted in you? Maybe you can discuss this in your small group. And grieve about those that were not given to us. Another significant person in my life is this man. His name is Dr. Philip Ney. He is a Canadian. He is my mentor in counseling. I studied under him since 1999. He's now almost 90. And he has become demented. I was able to visit him in Canada in December to say my goodbyes. He is such a sweet man, and all the things I learned about counseling I got from him, and for being a good person and a good counselor. He was the one who introduced to me the concept of being wanted and welcome. So I have a question for all of you. There is a statement by Margaret Sanger who said, "The first right of a child is to be wanted. True or false?" Who says it is true? The first right of a child is to be wanted. Raise your hand. Alright, you are wanted, okay? Okay. Who says it's false? Alright. Who says I don't understand you? Okay. Now the question will be, if your answer is true, yes, you are wanted, the first question in the brain of the person will be, what do you want me for? And if I cannot give you what you want, will you still want me? So no, the first right of a child is to be who you are. You are to be the person God has uniquely designed you to be. When you are a wanted child, I want you. And you'll say, what do you want me for? If you are good, then I want you. If you are excellent, then I will love you. No. That puts a pressure in your heart, doesn't it? But just to be gives you freedom. To be, to fail, to excel, to just be. And live according to God's design. So be the person you're designed. And Dr. Ney said that the root of all genuine appreciation is being welcome. I welcome you into my life. I welcome you just the way you are. I am glad you exist, the way you are, where you are, when you are, just as you are. Isn't that the beautiful thing? You're welcome just to be. So I don't know if that is a concept that any one of you has experienced, but you are welcome. In Crescendo, we are welcome to be. To nurture your giftedness and uniqueness. So being wanted is different from being welcome. In counseling, a wanted child has a relative value. Like I said, if you do this, or if you are good, then we want you. But a welcome child has an intrinsic value. His value is from inside. There's nothing that will make him more valuable because he's valuable in the first place. A welcome child can easily welcome and honor others. But a wanted child will always try to calculate his value compared to others. Because their value is relative, wanted children will always be competitive in their relationships. The same as adult, I guess. So nobody is in a position to evaluate anybody's quality of life, if there's such a thing, but God. Since God puts an intrinsic value upon us, the only way we can stop the vicious cycle of abortion, abuse, is to welcome every child in Jesus' name and in your name. That's from Dr. Philip Ney. So God has designed all of us uniquely. You have your own blueprint. No one is like you. No one will ever be like you. I'm glad. So you are unique, and no one is going to be blossomed me in my uniqueness, helped me improve my skills and everything that I do. There's a man, a famous physicist and mathematician named Blaise Pascal, and this is one of my favorite quotations. He said that there is a God-shaped vacuum in the heart of every man that cannot be filled by anything except by the person of Jesus Christ. I quote this because 38 years of working with artists, I have worked with men and women in the industry who longed for acceptance, longed for love, longed for everything that will fill the longings of their souls, yet come away empty. And Blaise Pascal is right. There has to be something that will fill the longings of your soul. Longings for acceptance and longings for self-esteem. So actually, coming here to Crescendo is a good start. You need to know who you are. You need to know what your design is, or finding a good mentor. If there are things that have to be dealt with in counseling, don't be afraid to go through counseling. In the Philippines, there's a stigma that if you're in counseling, you are a white collar. But no, the worst thing that can happen is just you will be a better person and discover things that you need to discover. So if you have to go through counseling, it's a good thing. Finding a good mentor who will walk with you through your journey is another important thing. And also being here, talking to us, talk to us. We will just be around. I'll be here until the end of the week. Another week, he said, just talk to us if you need to have somebody talk to you. Ask me, how do you find good self-esteem? Tell me about what Blaise Pascal is talking about. So that's what I wanted to share. My hope for all of you is that you will discover who you are and know your value as a person and embrace it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So now we are so happy to have Mark Seaman with us today, and he and his wonderful ensemble want to sing at church songs with us from different traditions, and you are invited to sing along. Yeah, thank you so much for leading us, Mark.